What is up, guys? KFC back here with our next war recap video. Sorry for the delay. I know it's been a week since I've recorded. Just haven't been able to find the time with home life and end of the semester. So I think the last war that I reviewed was almost a week ago against Gang for Life, that 55-41 victory. So unfortunately, I missed the war against the Trinity, but going to go ahead and spend this time reviewing our wars against the Muni Lot and 30 plus NL2 and see how we did there. So this war against the Muni Lot, pretty decisive victory, 57-49. If I do remember correctly, this was the war that unfortunately base 9, a Town Hall 9 was left up, but even worse. If you look at the enemy's defenses, base 9 is one that took 9 attacks and we never got it down. And then to even add more salt to the wound, if we look at the war events for that war, Ethan, who is no longer with us, started off that base with the 99. So the very, very first attack on the base right here, Ethan, 18 hours into war, that was the first attack. So we were not able to convert a 99 into a 100 for 8 straight Town Hall 9 attacks, which is just brutal. Continuing to add more salt to the wound was the fact that Ethan actually had pretty low heroes, 2020. So I'm going to go ahead and watch this attack, even though we didn't get it done. But this is obviously the base that we really struggled with, and it's not very good, unfortunately. So hopefully we learned a lot from this, given that over half of our Town Hall 9s hit it and did not get it down. So let's go ahead and watch how Ethan does it here. I believe he just runs out of time during cleanup. And then kind of talk about... I won't review, obviously, all 9 attacks. This is going to be a war recap video, not a cleanup review series. I don't have the time to look at 9 failed attacks. It would break my little heart. But gets his wizards down, queen down nice and early. Test wall breaker gets the wall breaker bomb, so that means that you know that you need to bring that test wall breaker. Wall breakers open everything up. Everything's going in pretty well. And then I'm going to pause it here when he drops the jump spell, because I did watch the other attacks, and there was always one mistake that I kind of realized. Boom, here it is. The jump spell specifically was used to connect these 2 compartments. He wanted his Valks to be responsible for the 6 o'clock compartment down here and this compartment here, and then ultimately they were going to funnel all the way up to this queen, because he's going to drop his second jump spell up on this junction here. And so I said his Valks, but like even his golems are going to now path to the air defense and then down to the Tesla and then over down to this corner down here. So this jump spell specifically's purpose was to connect these 2 compartments, and that's what so many other attacks did not do. A lot of times what ended up happening was that this junction was the one that they connected. Now here's the problem with that. When you look at the value that you get by connecting this compartment, right, you're going to take out the enemy of Barbarian King, the Tesla, the Cannon, the Arch Tower, and the Wizard Tower by connecting this compartment. If you leave that compartment up, that means that those 17 hogs are now not only responsible for this portion of the base, which is what Ethan uses it for, but they're also now responsible for this portion of the base. And it's just too much. You don't get any added value, right? If you place your jump spell here, you still get this compartment, which has an air defense and an air sweeper, so there's nothing there. And you get this air defense and this air sweeper, so that's not any value. And so then you connect your second jump, and your attack ultimately will stall out somewhere in this compartment. And so you just won't get enough value for your kill squad. And so as you watch Ethan's attack develop here, indeed what ends up happening is his Valks go up and push themselves up into that middle area. So some of them, most of them are up here. Some of them going down here to kind of take down this compartment, which is helpful. This golem strays off to the bottom right and takes out some of the stuff down there. Some hogs go in to take out that compartment. The king ultimately goes up top, and he is going to use his ability right now, and then boom, down goes that enemy queen. And so now look at where his hogs start, right? He still has all 10 of those hogs are up, and then the 7 that he still has in the bag is the 17 that he has. And then he's got 1 heal spell now for these hogs. Now there's a lot of defenses that are still up for only having 1 heal spell left. What he's going to end up doing is he's going to drop his first heal spell kind of over in this area. So the hogs are going to get through the first few layers of defense. Now notice he started with 17 hogs. He's going to lose a few to spring traps. But at this moment in time, he still has about 10 to go. And it's right around this area, I feel, that he uses that heal spell, if I remember the attack correctly, to kind of keep these remaining 7 hogs up. Maybe I am wrong on that. Maybe he uses it kind of over here at the end of the raid. And so we now know that he started with 17 hogs, and he's got 5 remaining by the time he gets responsible for this section of the base. And so it's just this section that's left. The hogs kind of come over, and he does drop his heal spell over at the end here, and that's going to easily get him through the rest of the raid. And so now it's just a matter of cleanup. And so now we see some of the mistakes that he made, right? He didn't use that giant, and so that giant was basically a waste of DPS. And then he's got a poison spell still in the bag as well. So we talked a lot, or I talked a lot in my last private video to you guys on why I don't feel that we are as a high level of a clan as I would like to be putting in the time to make arranged matchups and kind of really push the clan even further. And this is a pretty good example as to why, right? Like, in order to have a clan that is super high level, we need to not leave bases up like this past the second attack, let alone go all the way through 9 more times. That's just brutal, right? And so I said that I wasn't going to do it, but I just can't help myself. I'm going to scroll down to the second attack on the base and just kind of, I won't review each one, but what I'm going to do at least is look at the composition and then look at what ended up happening, right? So Brainiac Z, so he's going to follow up a 99 with a 58. So he didn't even bring the double jump, right? He's going to bring quad quake. And so that completely changes the entire nature of the attack. So his angle is different. Everything is different. And if you look at the value of what he gets for the quad quake, right? Nothing matters here because it's an air defense and an air sweeper. Nothing matters here because it's an air defense and an air sweeper. So basically, there's no value that his earthquake has opened. Now, if there was like quad Teslas here, and this air defense was an archer tower, and this was a cannon, there's some value there. But bringing a Go Vaho and opening up that portion of the base doesn't get you anything, because look at all of these compartments that still have so much more threat. So Brainiac Z, just a really bad scout there. So that was the reason why that one didn't quite work out. Let's scroll down to the next one. I think I have actually changed my mind now. I feel like I have to go through a bunch of these just because as a clan we just need to get better. Brad going in on the same base with a 53%. He is going to bring the same exact composition now as, forget the person's name, or Ethan. So Ethan at 2020, Brad has 2025. He's bringing the same spell composition, so you could ask the initial question of why are you bringing the second poison spell, unless you're planning on using it for the queen or the enemy king. Like, as long as there's a purpose for it, that's fine. But he's bringing basically the same attack, but you're going to watch Brad suffer from that fate that I talked about a little earlier. He gets his kill squad portion down. Everything's going exactly the way that Ethan's went, except boom, right there. There's the jump spell that opens up the wrong junction. All of this stuff down here is still up. And then what's ultimately going to happen now is those golems that were so friendly before and path down here are now going to path up. And then so ultimately that's going to doom him, because now there's nothing in this compartment that's tanking the hogs. Some of the hogs are going to go down here. And keep in mind, he only has 1 heal spell now. So now if we were to pause the attack right here, now these hogs have already been hit by a single bomb. He's dropped all of his hogs. And so you still have about 17 or so hogs here. But so many of them are already low health that it's just he's never going to make it. Remember, the final heal spell is used all the way over here in Ethan's attack because there's a single bomb right here. So there's no way that his 17 hogs with no tanking are going to get through all of these defenses the way that Ethan's did. Unfortunately, that's what dooms him. He burns the heal spell right there, and that was all she wrote. So just not a very good attack there. And then kind of just scrolling down. Let's watch some other ones here. Let's go ahead and watch DK go in on the same base. So once again, DK does not follow the blueprint, unfortunately. Looks like a stone Goho instead of the Valk portion. Going to take a different entry. It might be that the Ignasty account did not have Valk 4 for all I know, but takes a different entry. Going to try and double jump. But once again, if you're double jumping, right, you have to look at the value that you're getting. This compartment is absolute garbage. There's nothing in it that really hurts us. There's nothing in this compartment that really hurts us. Everything that hurts hogs is in all of these outer compartments. So if anything, a kind of a mass hog, almost like surgical-based approach would have almost been better. I could see a scenario where you drop maybe 3 hogs on the wizard tower, and then 6, drop a heal, maybe like 4-4 here, and go all the way around the sides, because everything that hurts hogs is on the outside. There's nothing, with the exception of one Tesla, that's in the middle. Everything else there is fluff. So this double jump concept is only good when you connect it to these outside compartments that are actually hurting your hogs. So a lot of the issue for this base, at least, came down to just kind of outright scouting the base and understanding what value you were getting by doing some sort of a double jump. So Ignatius was the 9th attack on that base. Let's go ahead and watch. Todd, who may have not used ground. He did use ground, so it looks like Todd forgot some spells. I see 1 heal and 1 jump and 2 poisons, and that's it. So once again, I know that it sounds mean when I say it, but there's 5 check marks that you have to make sure that are green before you go in. You just gotta check it, man. Like, you can only make that mistake once. If you make it twice, it's just like, what are you doing? Let's go ahead and watch the Warden go in on 9 and see what he did here. So the Warden is going to bring the double jump, same composition. So let's just see how his attack worked. He's going to take a very similar entry angle to what Ethan took, so that's great. A little late for sure. So I see one of the things with the Warden right here automatically, right, is that this attack started like 20 seconds ago, and his queen is still not down. He's just now getting his wizards down. So by the time the queen goes down, the king actually goes down before the queen, which always means that you did it wrong. So just a tough break there. And ultimately, boom, there's that jump spell. Wrong junction, doesn't connect to this compartment right here, and he's going to suffer the same fate as well. So Town Hall 9s, I am no longer a Town Hall 9. I have no more active Town Hall 9 accounts. So it is up to you guys to make sure that bases like that get cleared, and understanding why you're copying the replay and what makes doing it a different way better. I feel like everyone who placed that jump in that awkward little junction right there thought that they were doing something that was just better, right? They were thinking, oh, it creates a better path to the queen. It's more straightforward. No reason why you wouldn't do that, right? But then it's very clear when you look at the contents of this compartment and the contents of this compartment why this is the better way for your troops to go, right? We saw in the first attack, he got his king all the way to the queen with basically full health. So there was no reason not to follow that replay. You know, bringing quakes for this area was wrong. And so I know that this YouTube video has not had a very positive tone to it, and I apologize. But when a base takes 9 attacks, someone has to call it out, right? And so I think even though this war was 57-49 and we handily kind of beat them on 3 stars, I mean, that's just low-level stuff right there, right? Like, I mean, if we can be 3ing these 10s up here, we have to make sure that the 9s are getting cleared. Otherwise, then we're just not improving as a clan. And to leave that base up after the first attack was at 99%, it's just absolutely brutal. So I have spent 13 minutes talking about one base, so I guess instead of a war recap video, this is going to be a little bit of a cleanup series. So just to conclude the video, I'm going to go ahead and actually just watch Ethan's attack over again, really just kind of get it into our heads about what Ethan did, what we should have done in follow-up attacks. So Ethan, notice the way that Ethan puts, especially for new guys like the Warden who might not be used to the kind of the Goodfellas kind of more up-tempo way. Ethan even actually starts his higher DPS troop on the gold mine because he knows that it's out of range of the X-Bow and the cannon, which is really well done. So the raid is actually starting at 3 minutes. So let's go ahead and see when Ethan gets kind of everything down. So both golems go down there pretty quick. Gets his wizards down, and his queen goes down, boom, at 2:52. So 8 seconds is probably a little bit slower than maybe like I would have done it. But we've talked about that I'm a very, very fast tempo attacker. So 8 seconds there is how long it took Ethan to get down his funnel and his 2 golems. And then he does the test wall breaker there, easily gets into the compartment, so no issues there. And then I'll kind of watch the rest of the raid kind of on fast mode here. Jump spell goes down, connecting the 6 o'clock compartment. That's going to wipe out that 6 o'clock compartment, negate a double spot, or negate a single spot, excuse me, and then that's going to allow the rest of his hogs to kind of go kind of uncontested around the rest of the base. Everything was tanking for him, and then finally drops that final heal spell over there. Unfortunately, just ran out of time on the raid, but had that giant there that wasn't used, and then had this extra poison that also wasn't used until the very, very end here. So it could have been a max earthquake. So hopefully we learned our lesson from this base and improve for it. So that's going to be the end of this cleanup attack series. Let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments section. If you thought I was too mean, or if it really helped you to get another look at that base, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.